Do I think the Mango Power E power station is a waste of money? Yes, I do. If you want to know why, continue watching. This is the Mango Power E power station. Has tons of features such as 3,000 watts of pure sine wave AC output. It has a 3.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate powered by CATL battery, which means you can run this thing and charge it down to -4 degrees, which is highly unusual for lithium iron phosphate. It also has a 30 amp RV plug and lots of DC output here, and can accept 2,000 watts of solar and also up to 3,000 watts of AC house power. So this thing is packed full of good features. Let's do an unboxing and take a look at all of those features supplied here on the Mango Power E power station. This is how the Mango Power E is shipped. It weighs over 100 pounds, so be very careful when you move it around and be sure to have somebody help you. Now, if I spin this around, you can see that it has reinforced handles, and that actually has worked out really well to carry this thing. I've only had to move it once, and hopefully it'll be a lot lighter whenever I pull this out of the crate. So let's go ahead and pop these little support straps here and go ahead and unbox it so we can see what everything looks like. Nice reinforced corners. That's good. So far, what I can say about the packaging is they have not spared any expense because they want this product to get to you in great condition. So that is one thing I can say so far. All right, let me bring you in closer so you can see what's next. Looks like we got a box in a box here. I may go ahead and break down this outer box so we can see what the inner box looks like. And there is the box in the box. Skimming off the top here, looks like we've got the AC input cable as well as the solar MC4 connectors. Let's go ahead and pull that out. Yeah, so there's your AC input. And over here, looks like you have some type of aviation plug with MC4 right there and a super thick cable. Warranty card. This thing sure is big. I may have to also break down this other box to get it out of here. Let's give it a try. It takes a real man to pull this power station out. I may have to go find one. Okay, nope, we got it. There we go. Let's take a tour of the Mango Power E power station. Beginning with the top up here, it has two rubberized handles that allow you to carry this 100-pound power station. If you turn this way, it has a handle. You can press this button in, lift up, and that will allow you to roll this heavy power station. And it's got wheels down here on the bottom, which is super convenient for something this heavy. There's the Mango Power logo right there. To get the handle back down, press the button on the top and it will go back into position there. Moving over here to this side, it has a fan for cooling. It also has the Mango Power cells by CATL. And move over here to the front. There is a touch screen display up here, and it has power button right here, the AC outlet 30 amp. It's an RV30 plug. Down here you've got some DC, so 65 watt and 100 watt USB type C's, 12 volt 5 amp DC outlet barrel plugs. You've got your cigarette lighter charging port, 12 volt 10 amp right there. Moving down here you've got some quick charge 3.0 27 watt USB type A, and you've got the quick charge 3.0 27 again, so you've got 6 of those total. Over here you've got 4 AC outlets, 20 amp, and that will allow you to run up to 3,000 watts off of there. Now moving over to this side, it does have more cooling right here and also has the inputs down here on the bottom. So if we zoom into here, over here is the solar input, 2,000 watt max, the grid AC input, 3,000 watt max, and over here is the E-Link port for combining 2 units to make 240 split phase, and then you've got the E+ port to add a battery down there on the bottom. So this little tab pulls out, and there's a little rubber piece that folds down, And you can see those different plugs there, and you're not able to mismatch any of them, which is pretty convenient. Okay, let's go ahead and install the Mango Power E app here. If you open up your instruction booklet, you can then open your camera, and you should be able to, let's see, we want this one over here. There we go. All right, Mango Power, it's the MP Union. Go ahead and get that installed. And let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like here. Okay, now it's installing. And let's go ahead and open this up and see what it looks like here. I'm going to turn on the Mango Power E by holding down the power button for about 1 or 2 seconds. There we go, the light has popped on. Mango Power is displaying right here on the screen. Now we can take a look at the display here. So up in this corner, you can see there is a little icon that shows that you could have 2 of these units connected together to have the 240 split phase. Next is a little battery indicator, so you can add the extended battery here, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then the battery. So down here on this little display, it's got shipped by 62% battery, and it has 52 hours and 21 minutes left here. So up here, there's 0 solar coming in, 0 grid, the AC load is off, the DC load is off, there's nothing set on the backup battery or the quick charge here. There's also a little bell icon, and there's also a little gear for the settings. So this is a touch screen. So here on the settings, it's got max AC input 15 amp. You can change that to 10 amp or even up to 30 if your home has that capability. So here, please confirm that your input current reaches 30 amps. It does not. So I'm going to keep mine at 10 here, but 10 or 15 would be your common. The battery backup capacity here, 85%. You can do 90 or 95%. You can either confirm or cancel those changes. All right, now if I want to turn on the AC inverter, click right here, and you can see it turns on right there. Same thing, just clicked on. So we've got 1 watt to run the unit, which brings this down to 49 hours. The DC load comes on immediately there. Can turn both of those off. As you can see, the controls are extremely simple. If I want to turn the unit off, I just simply hold down the power button for about 3 seconds. And it's going to turn the unit off. Okay, I'd say I'm pretty average strength here, so let me see if I can get this power station up onto my workbench here. See the best way of doing that. Yeah, so it's heavy enough that I would recommend you lift with a partner there. But anyway, we got it up here. So this has 2 different charging methods. You can charge by the AC or by the solar. So here in my off-grid shed, I have 500 watts of solar coming in as a test system. So that's what we're going to be using to charge this up first, because it's a nice clear day out today. So let's use the MC4s connected to the aviation plug to charge this here in my studio. I'm going to pull this tab out and let it fall down, and then I can use the cables that came with the unit to connect right over here. There is a little white dot here that needs to line up with the top of this plug. Let's see, there we go. Let me spin that into position. Very good. Now I have my MC4 connectors here. I'm going to go ahead and plug these up. Black to black, red to red. Now before I push the power on button, I'm going to turn on my solar to see if this unit has plug and play to turn on by itself. So I've turned on the solar panels. Let's see what we get here. So far, nothing. All right, let's push the power button on. and see if this unit will begin to charge once the power is on. Well, I've had to do some troubleshooting down here. I've been attempting to use the included cable that has the aviation plug on one side and the MC4s on the other. So I plugged up my MC4 for my solar panels and plugged it up to the unit. Nothing happened. So then I took my multimeter here and I measured between here and got a good connection. So I thought, okay, that's not the problem. I changed out my MC4 connectors on my solar wire, and it was working fine either way. And so I took a jumper wire between these here and my solar wire. It was still showing up here as good. So what I've finally decided is that the aviation plug is not making good contact with the Mango power. So this cable right here or the holes in here are not good. So what I've done to get this to work is just jumper wire my solar from the wires into the unit, and it is charging. So this right here, big issue. Can't use that because the aviation plug is incorrect. But now that I have my wires jumpered in, you can see 320 watts currently coming in from my panels outside. And so this unit is charging. It has 63% there on the battery. So I'm going to let this sit for most of the day here and charge up, and then we will do some testing once it's at full. Now after this is done with solar, I will then use AC power to watch this charge up real fast. The Mango power charged in the sun for about 6 hours. The display shows 100%, and the idle power consumption from solar seems to be about 36 watts. So I had to once again use this jumper wire here, so I'm going to remove that from the system, and I will try out the included cable again here in a moment to see if we can get that to work. But anyway, this unit is now fully charged. Let's go ahead and do a discharge test on the AC. So I have got this little heater here that I'm going to use. What I'd like to do is time how long it takes this heater on setting number 2 to dissipate or discharge this battery. And then we will do some math to see what the efficiency is and see how well this battery performs. All right, let me go ahead and turn on the AC load right here. Wait for it, there should be a click. There we go. There is a click right there. So let me go ahead and plug up this heater. Now the AC load just being on is using 2 or 3 watts. So let me go ahead and turn the heater on here and start the timer. There we go. Let me zoom in so you can see the consumption. 903 watts. I stepped back down here after 2 hours to see what was going on, and the unit is off. So let me push the touch screen here and see why this has stopped. We've got 52% on the battery. The AC load is off, and interesting. I don't know why it's turned itself off. Let's flip this back here real quick. Turn this back on. I honestly have no idea why this thing has turned itself off. Quite interesting. All right, just kick that back on. Let's turn the heater back on again. So yes, not really sure what happened there. I'll have to come back out and do this little test again. Hopefully get a better idea of what's going on. All right, so far the Android app is not ready yet, so we can't test that. I've been working with this cable, and I have decided that it is the black side that is not working. What I did was use my multimeter and a couple of jumper wires, and I went from the black and the red with my input and just figured out it's either the black over here or the black over here. But anyway, solar cable, no good. And then whenever I was running the heater here, it stopped midway through the test. So we need to run that test once again. So let me haul this 101 pounds up to the house, and we will now try out the AC input, which is going to be right over here. And once this thing is fully charged, then we will be able to begin using this again here. Now this unit boasts that it will be fully 80% charged in 1 hour. So let's go ahead and do that test as well. So I'm going to put the heater up to it and drain it all the way down to 0, and then we will charge it through AC, and hopefully we'll get that 80% in 1 hour's time. I now have the Mango Power E up here in the house, and I did drain the battery all the way out. So first, let's go ahead and connect the aviation plug up under here. So looks like it's got a notch, and yes, does have a little indicator for direction. So let me push that in, tighten down this thread. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the unit on, hold for a second, let go, and this should pop up here. If I zoom in, you can see on the display that it has 0% on the battery. I do have a stopwatch here. I'm gonna plug this up and then press the start button. It did click on here immediately. Let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see what the watt value is from the grid. There's 437. It has now been 1 hour and 15 minutes, still running at about 466 watts, 15% here on the charge. Now the fans keep kicking on to cool the unit off, and there's a bit of an odor in the air where that I guess is blowing out that whatever the inside of this smells like. So right at 6.5 hours, the Mango Power charged to 99%, and the AC power stopped charging except for about 2 watts. And it never has reached 100 here on the display. All right, so let's go ahead and do our discharge test again. Hopefully it won't turn off at the midway point. Let me go ahead and plug this same little heater up that we used before. I think this time what I'm going to do is run this at full speed. Once again, I'm going to have my little stopwatch, and so we can see what this is going to run at. So let's turn on the AC load. Let that click here. All right, and now I'm going to turn on this heater to the highest setting. Press my stopwatch. So we've got that going, and the load. Let's take a look here at the display and see what this is running at. This is showing 1,488 watts. So if we just do the math real quick on here, if we say 3,500 amp hours divided by the let's just do 75 here. This should run for 2.37 hours. Time is 1.5 hours. The battery now is at 27%, and we've been running a very consistent 1,480 watts on this heater. There we go. Just cut off at 1 hour and 52 minutes. Just hit 0 on the Mango Power here, and we were running at 1,480 watts. Let's do some math on this real quick. If we say 1.87 hours times 1,480 watts, then we have 2,767 amp hours there, or watt hours, excuse me. And so if we say that times 100 divided by 3,500 potential, it was running at 79%. Now there is one thing I want to check real quick. I saw in the very limited settings that this thing has, there is a backup battery capacity at 85%. So what happens if we click 95 and confirm that? Does that do anything to allow us to have extra backup in here? With the Mango Power E fully discharged, I'm going to test out the AC charging here. Go ahead and plug this up to the wall. And I do want to go ahead and click the quick charge. And then I'm going to go ahead and start the timer here. So when this thing turns on, it should be able to charge up to 80% in 1 hour based on the specs here. So let's watch this power jump up here. Uh-oh, it's turned off our quick charge again. Let's press that real quick and see what happens. There we go. So if you don't press quick charge, it's going to top out at about 470 watts. But if you press that quick charge button, it's going to be able to charge with a much higher watt value. And this is where you can go into your settings. And I currently have 15 amp, which is where I need it to be because that's the breakers that I have here in the house. So, all right, I'm seeing 1600 watts. Let's see if it goes any higher than that. Cooling fans have just turned on. Looks like 1,658 watts roughly is about where it's hanging out. So 1%, we'll let this charge and see how long it's going to take before it has reached 80% here with our timer. Approaching 1 hour, let's see what our charge is up to here. 38%. Definitely not going to hit the 80% charge in 1 hour. So that apparently is if you have both the solar and the grid, and also I assume maybe if you're running the 30 amp breaker here. So anyway, that's the current charge, 39% at about an hour here. All right, now that you've seen my testing, it's time to talk about why this thing is not worth the $3,500 that you would pay for it. There are several reasons. The number one reason, and the very first thing that I really tested, was this trash cable. So I've got my multimeter here. Let me go ahead and turn this on to the continuity setting. So basically, whenever my two probes touch something that is the same wire, it will beep. So if I take the red lead off of solar and stick this in here, you'll hear the beep. There we go, that's working. Move over here to the black side. Doesn't matter where I touch in there, that wire is not connected. So this cable right here, garbage, doesn't work. All right, so that out of the way, let's talk about the app on the phone. It's supposed to connect either to Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. Doesn't connect to either. So I basically set everything up properly, tried to turn it on, never searched for the Bluetooth, never reached the Wi-Fi. And so the app on the Android anyhow is pointless. After 6 months, I decided to get this power station back out. That's how long I've been waiting to make this review. And the app had an update. I said, great, let's try it out. Updated the app, it put 3 icons on the bottom of the screen, did nothing else. Never found the power station, never connected to anything, pointless. So the features on the display are super limited. It has your basically battery state and charging or not charging. And when you go into the settings, all it has is the option of how much charge do you want as far as 10 amp, 15 amp, or 30 amp. In my house, I could just use the 10 or 15. So that's limited. Every time you go out of the menu and come back, it resets it, which is annoying. And then the manual is a huge disappointment. It has no information on how to use the power station, basically. So you're kind of left in the dark of what is backup mode. I have no idea. I still have no idea. So that is a huge waste of time. So the test on the inverter showed that it wasn't really performing all that great. I can't remember what it was. It's been a long time. You'll see it before I remember. The construction itself is kind of cheap, especially back here on the back. When you pop this handle up and then go to move the unit, the back cover flexes like it's going to break. So that is cheap. The wheels seem to be okay. The handles are okay. I've carried it a few times. And all of the functions do work as far as your AC and DC output. I was just disappointed with this unit. So manual needs huge improvements. The cable doesn't work. It could improve 100% on that aspect. And the unit doesn't really perform as I would expect with its output there. So sorry to disappoint. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment down below for if you think that my review is honest or if it needs to be improved.
I basically just don't like this unit. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.